welcome back, you beautiful, unbreakable force. You felt it before anyone named it. That shift in how impact affects you now. The world keeps hitting. You keep standing. And somewhere in that repetition, you stopped asking why. The hits don't surprise you anymore. Don't shock you. Don't even register the way they used to. Not because you've gone numb, because you've gone beyond. Beyond the need for the hits to stop. Beyond hoping for easier roads. Beyond waiting for the universe to show mercy. You just take the impact, absorb it, stand through it. Not because you're trying to prove anything, not because you believe in some reward for endurance, but because standing is what you do now. It's become automatic, mechanical, the only response your body knows when force meets you. And that consistency, that relentless returning to vertical no matter what hits you, that's what changed everything. You didn't become unbreakable by avoiding damage. You became unbreakable by breaking so many times that breaking stopped meaning anything. You're still here, and that terrifies everyone who's been watching you take hits they thought would end you. You remember when you used to fall and stay down, don't you? When impact actually kept you on the ground. When you'd measure the damage, calculate recovery time, wonder if you could handle one more hit. Those days are gone. Not because the hits got softer. They didn't. If anything, they got harder, more precise, more relentless. But something in you stopped responding the way you used to. You stopped staying down, stopped asking how much damage you took, stopped wondering if you could handle more. You just started getting back up, every single time, without thought, without decision, just automatic return to standing. And that shift, that transition from choosing to stand to being unable to do anything else, that's when you became something different, something the world doesn't have a category for. Because people understand fighters who win, people understand fighters who lose. But you're neither. You don't win, you don't lose. You just continue, and continuation without victory or defeat breaks every framework people use to understand combat. They watch you take hits that would end others. Hits that should end you. Hits designed to keep you down permanently. And every time you stand back up. Not triumphantly, not defiantly. Just automatically. Like standing is the only response your system knows. It's not courage. Courage implies choice. You're not choosing this anymore. This is just what happens now. Impact occurs. You absorb it. You return to vertical. The cycle repeats. There's no heroism in it. No glory. Just mechanical persistence. And that scares them. Because they can't understand endurance without purpose. Can't process continuation without hope. Can't categorize someone who keeps standing without needing a reason to stand. You've become proof that the human system can be conditioned to endure anything if survival depends on it. That standing can become so deeply programmed that you do it even when standing costs everything. They wanted you to be inspirational. Wanted your endurance to mean something. Wanted your suffering to transform into strength they could celebrate. But what you actually are is something else entirely. Something harder to romanticize. You're someone who's been hit so many times that standing became autonomic. Someone who's broken so often that breaking lost its power to stop you. Someone who's endured so much that endurance isn't a choice anymore, it's just your operating system. That's not the story they want. They want the warrior who conquers, the hero who overcomes, the victor who transforms pain into power. But you're not that. You're just someone who keeps standing because standing is all that's left. Here's what they don't tell you about reaching this point. About becoming someone who just takes hits and keeps standing without needing the hits to stop. You don't arrive here through strength. You arrive here through something darker. Through the complete abandonment of hope that things will get easier. Through accepting that the hits are permanent. Through understanding that waiting for mercy is just another way to stay vulnerable. You stopped waiting, stopped hoping, stopped expecting the universe to recognize you've had enough. And in that surrender of expectation, you found something they don't have words for. Not strength, not resilience, not even endurance. Something more fundamental. The absence of the need for circumstances to change before you can function. Most people can only stand as long as they believe standing will eventually pay off. As long as they can see an end to the suffering. As long as there's hope that the next hit might be the last one. You let go of all that. Stopped requiring purpose. Stopped needing meaning. Stopped demanding that your endurance lead somewhere better. You just started standing because standing is what happens. Impact occurs. You absorb it. You remain vertical. End of story. And that shift, that release of the need for your suffering to mean something, that's what made you unstoppable. Because you can't break someone who doesn't need the breaking to stop. Can't defeat someone who isn't trying to win. Can't crush someone who's already accepted that crushing is just part of the daily routine. You're not fighting the hits anymore. Not resisting the impact. Not trying to dodge or deflect or defend. You're just taking it. All of it. Whatever comes. And then standing again. And again. And again. That's not heroic. That's not noble. That's just what organisms do when survival becomes the only remaining program. You've been stripped down to the most basic function. Continue existing. And you're executing that function with mechanical precision. They watch you, and they don't know what they're seeing. Is it strength? Is it stubbornness? Is it damage so complete that you don't register pain the way normal people do? They can't tell. And that uncertainty is what makes you terrifying. Because predictable people can be managed. People who fight can be beaten. People who hope can be disappointed. But you're none of those things. You're just someone who keeps standing regardless of what hits you. And regardless is the most dangerous word in human psychology. You've stopped negotiating with reality. Stopped asking it to be different. Stopped demanding it make sense. You just take what comes and remain vertical. That's the entire equation now. And equations that simple can't be defeated because there's nothing to defeat. Just automatic response to stimulus. Let's be honest about what this costs. About what you traded to become someone who just stands through everything without needing anything to change. You traded the ability to feel hope. Real hope. The kind that makes mornings feel different. The kind that makes you believe things might get better. That's gone. Hope requires the belief that circumstances can improve. You stopped believing that. You traded the capacity for rest, real rest, the kind where you actually let your guard down, where you stop calculating threat levels, where you trust that you're safe. You can't do that anymore. Rest feels dangerous. Vulnerability feels like setup for the next hit. You traded your relationship with joy, not because you can't feel it, but because joy, when you know it's temporary, when you know the hit is coming right after the moment of peace, joy becomes just another thing to lose, so you stopped reaching for it. These aren't dramatic losses. No one sees them. No one marks them. But they're real, and they're permanent. You can't get them back just by deciding to. They're casualties of becoming someone who can take infinite hits and keep standing. And here's what makes it worse. People admire you for it. They see you standing through things that would destroy them, and they call you strong. They call you inspiring. They tell you they wish they had what you have. They don't understand what they're wishing for. They think they want your endurance. What they'd actually get is your emptiness. Your inability to rest. Your loss of hope. Your relationship with existence that's been reduced to pure mechanics. Stand, get hit, stand again, repeat. until you stop breathing. That's not strength they're admiring. That's damage so complete it looks like power. That's survival mechanisms, so deeply ingrained they've replaced personality. That's what happens when a human system gets conditioned by relentless impact to just keep functioning without needing reasons to function. You look at other people sometimes and you don't recognize what you see. They get knocked down and they stay down until they've recovered. They get hurt and they give themselves time to heal. They suffer and they expect comfort, support, time to process. You don't do any of that. Can't do any of that. Your system doesn't have those programs anymore. You just take the hit and stand back up immediately. No recovery time. No healing process. No comfort required. Just automatic return to vertical in preparation for the next impact. And that's not because you're better than them. It's because you're more damaged. Because you've been hit so many times that your system stopped trying to heal and just started hardening. Stopped trying to recover and just started enduring. Stopped hoping for better and just started accepting that this is what existence is. They think you're winning some battle they can't see. You're not. You're just standing. That's it. That's the whole story. The world hits. You stand. The world hits again. You stand again. There's no victory in it. No transformation. No growth. Just mechanical repetition of the only response you have left. Let's talk about why your particular brand of endurance unsettles people. Why they watch you take hits and keep standing. And instead of feeling inspired, they feel disturbed. Because you're not doing what survivors are supposed to do. You're not overcoming, not transforming pain into power, not using your struggles as fuel for some heroic arc. You're just enduring, without narrative, without meaning, without the promise that it leads somewhere better. And that breaks their entire framework for understanding suffering. They need suffering to have purpose, need endurance to build towards something, need pain to eventually pay off. That's how they make sense of hard things. They survive them by believing the survival means something. You stopped believing that, and you're still surviving anyway, and that's terrifying to them. Because if you can keep standing without needing it to mean something, without hoping for better, without any promise of payoff, what does that say about their own need for purpose? It suggests that maybe endurance doesn't need meaning. That maybe you can just keep going without reasons to keep going. That maybe survival is just a mechanical process that happens regardless of whether there's any point to it. They don't want to believe that. Don't want to accept that you can be reduced to just automatic standing and still continue functioning. Because if that's possible, if meaning is optional for survival, then all their carefully constructed narratives about why they endure become unnecessary. You're living proof that a human being can be stripped down to pure function and still operate. Can lose hope, joy, rest, purpose, meaning, and still keep standing. Can become nothing but the mechanical repetition of getting up after being hit and continue indefinitely. That's not inspirational. That's existentially disturbing. You're not a hero in their story. You're a reminder that humans can be reduced to much less than they want to believe and still technically survive. So they avoid you, or they romanticize you, or they project meaning onto your endurance that isn't there. Because looking directly at what you actually are, a person who's been hit into something barely human that just keeps standing, that's too uncomfortable. They need you to be fighting for something, enduring towards something, standing because of some deep conviction or powerful why. But you're not. You're standing because standing is what you do now. The hits come. You absorb them. You remain vertical. That's the entire equation. And equations that simple, that stripped of meaning and hope and purpose, equations that still function perfectly, those are terrifying, because they reveal how little we actually need to survive. how much we can lose and still technically continue. You're not a warrior in some glorious battle. You're a system that's been conditioned to endure and only endure. And systems don't need hope, don't need meaning, don't need victory. They just need to keep executing their primary function, which in your case is stand. Get hit, stand again. So here you are, still standing, not because you chose to, not because you believe in anything, not because there's some reward waiting, just because standing is what you do. It's all you do. It's all that's left. The world keeps hitting. You keep standing. That's the entire story. No character development. No transformation arc. No journey from darkness to light. Just mechanical repetition of impact and recovery until one day the recovery doesn't happen. And you know what? That's not weakness. That's not failure. That's not even tragic. That's just what survival looks like when it's been stripped of everything except the core function. You survived. You're surviving. You'll continue surviving until you can't. End of story. People want there to be more. Want your endurance to mean something profound. Want your standing to inspire them or teach them or prove something about the human spirit. But sometimes standing is just standing. Sometimes survival is just survival. Sometimes enduring is just the mechanical act of not stopping even when stopping would be easier. You're not here to inspire anyone, not here to prove anything, not here to demonstrate the power of the human will. You're just here, still standing, still taking hits, still returning to vertical after each impact, because that's what your system does now. And if that's all you ever are, if your entire existence reduces to just this mechanical endurance, that's fine. That's enough. Because standing when everything in you wants to fall, continuing when continuation seems impossible, being vertical when gravity and impact and exhaustion all demand horizontal, that's something. Maybe not heroic. Maybe not meaningful. Maybe not even particularly human anymore. But it's something. And sometimes something is all you have. All you are. All you'll ever be. The world keeps hitting. You keep standing. That's all there is. And that's exactly enough.